League Lacrosse gearing up for its championship weekend. This is a league recently inked a fresh 5-year broadcast deal with ESPN. The network also became a minority owner in the PLL. Here to talk about the league's growth, the big weekend, and the sports streaming landscape, PLL co-founder Paul Rabil. Paul, great to see you.
Great to see you, too. Thanks for having me.
Perfect timing. We got a potentially big media deal here in the works. They've got a lot of sports assets, Warner Brothers and Paramount, Skydance. What do you make of that? How does that change things?
Well, the latest Paramount deal, if you bring in the Ellisons and Jerry Cardinal, and then what they announced a few weeks ago with the UFC, was a big statement. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at WBD, which has sort of been moving around the market in various ways, at one point we thought Versant might take the cable assets of WBD. This makes a lot of sense, primarily from a merging standpoint. One of the inhibitors, if you look at regulatory oversight, is there are 4 big broadcast stations, right? So WB does not have one. But if you look at HBO and Warner Brothers distribution, it's pretty amazing what they can do. And really the media conglomerates are trying to position themselves in this tech awakening. Mm-hmm. And so if you're Paramount, this is a smart decision. And if you have an owner who has $400 billion to his name, you can look at WBD and their $40 billion in debt on their balance sheet.
All right, Paul, let's talk some lax.
Cool.
You first came on, I want to say, in the pandemic, and you guys were doing this bubble out in Utah, I think. And then since then, you had done a couple really big media deals, like Mel just kind of said. Talk to us about the growth, because, you and I have talked offline a little bit. These crowds are growing. Yeah. I think the fan base is growing. You obviously, some of these games on each weekend are on ABC, that sort of thing. Like, give us a sense of, like, how quickly your league is growing.
Yeah, well, I'm biased, but I think pro sports is an amazing asset class. It carries this enterprise value that moves from media to partnerships to tickets, live events, live IP. There's a huge youth business that's bolted onto it, and merchandise, now venues and real estate. If you look at the Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft model of what they've done specifically in Texas and New England. For us, we inhabited a property, or I should say a discipline that's been around for 1,000 years in America. And so we needed to just put on an entertaining product. And we did that in year 1 to 3 with NBC, and then we brought on ESPN as our media rights partner. And then most recently, we renewed with them for another 5 years, and ESPN made an investment into the PLL. So it's a lot of hard work, but I think from a overarching viewpoint, attention economy, live IP, pro sports, appointment watching television is where a lot of streamers and traditional media conglomerates are looking.
Since ESPN has made a stake in PLL, you're probably not out shopping around your media rights, but just to get your viewpoint on the changing media landscape and what that means for people who have something to sell, like PLL would, maybe what you had prior to this investment from ESPN. Yeah. How does that change? I mean, if you had Warner Brothers Discovery splitting, you have Versant coming online. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of potential customers here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have this notion that the marketplace is fractured and there's a lot of confusion on where to find your favorite sports or where to watch. And we forget about the pay TV model. And when it was its peak, it was in 2011, and about 80% of households in America had pay TV. Cut to today, 34%. So it's been on a downward trend, as we all know. Also in 2011, connected TVs were in about 10% of homes. Today, they're in 88%, 117 million homes. And that's been the biggest turning point for everything that we've seen, because connected TVs service as the modern-day TV guide, where we would have to surf through 200 channels to find what we want. Now we can just go Netflix, HBO, Disney, ESPN, and you're able to siphon through. So connected TV has led to the largest shift that we've seen in the modern era, with ESPN offering their D2C property that just came out a couple of weeks ago. And in May of 2025, for the first time ever, streaming viewership has eclipsed broadcast and cable viewership combined. So we're in it. I don't think the bundle has gone away. I think it's migrated.
Championship weekend. It's a big one for you.
Yeah.
You're excited. I mean, you just had a baby, and you're still going to this championship weekend.
Yeah.
It's that big.
Yeah, I mean, look, our team works extraordinarily hard. We've had a flagship year. Our viewership across linear is up significantly. We're up 55% on our ABC broadcasts and 81% against ESPN. We had our largest All-Star game of all time, up 115% year over year. Tickets are up 11%. Sponsorship is up 20%. Merchandise is up 10%. And we're expecting this big weekend coming up on ABC at 12:30 at Sports Illustrated Stadium, just nearby home, to be an amazing one.